Welcome, my podcast family. This is Chris Green coming to you once again on my podcast of Grieving to Believing. Today, we're going to talk about the rebirth of my grandchild, Chelsea Monique Kilpatrick, who is a podcaster herself. She's a writer. She's published, and how many degrees do you have, child?
I have 2 degrees.
And she's going to walk us through how she got from her point in life from grieving to believing. Chelsea has struck out on her own. I think she's been living in New York for 5-6 years now.
6 years.
And she's been there on her own. No family, but she has probably collected a host of friends and family there. So Chelsea, tell us about your travel, your journey, and how you got to where you are today. On a note, Chelsea just celebrated her 33rd birthday. Happy birthday. We all went out today and helped her celebrate her birthday. So she has come into a new challenge and season of her life as well.
Yes. So growing up, I think one of the main things that I always desired for myself as an adult is freedom. Like, I just remember being like, oh, I want to be free when I get older. And like, not really knowing like what that meant in the way that I have it now, but just like knowing that I wanted to spread my wings and fly, metaphorically. And I think moving to New York has played a huge role in that. I think being away from family and being able to discover myself and reinvent myself and like meet new people and meet myself through other people, like new people, and not have my family around.
How hard was it for you to step out in this new life and being out there with Chelsea and say no family to fall back on? You only had yourself and whatever resources that you could bring to your life.
It was extremely difficult. I mean, when I moved to New York, it was 6 months before the pandemic. So I moved to New York. I thought my life was going to be one way. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm living the New York dream. And then the pandemic hit. And the pandemic was I know it was different for everyone, difficult for everyone. But in New York, it was especially difficult. We were completely shut down. I remember one day in my apartment, like there would be tanks rolling down the street, patrolling, news reports of like ambulance trucks full of dead bodies, freezers full of dead bodies. So it was like a very crazy time to go through that alone and like be in the house just with my thoughts and like this new life and trying to discern like, okay, am I supposed to be here in this new life? Should I stick it out? Should I go back to what I know?
What you were comfortable with.
What I was comfortable with.
Yeah.
But
What made you stick it out? What made you say, no, Chelsea's going to do this?
Well, I realized like during that time, because I was also in therapy, I realized during that time that I had commitment issues, like that I wasn't good with like sticking it out. So I think, especially like during COVID, we all had a lot of time to think and reflect. And I think that's one of the things for me that stuck out the most was like, you have commitment issues, like what would it look like to stick it out, and who can you become by staying?
And when you got to this point and you can say, okay, Chelsea can do this, how did you feel?
I felt very amazing. Okay, so this is kind of like the grieving part. Like, we're leading up, because during that time, I was like, oh, I am strong. I am powerful. I am like resourceful. I am all of these. Okay, I have proven to myself that I have this strength and power to persevere through challenges.
Isn't it amazing how when we're put in certain situations, we realize how powerful and how strong we really are? But it takes that to bring that out of you.
No, absolutely. But I feel like, yes, and I feel like a part of what I'm grieving is like that persona of being like, I am strong, I am powerful, I am independent, I am like, because I really don't resonate with that in that way anymore. Like now, it's more of like, I am soft, I am calm, I am like collaborative. I don't want to be like independent. I want to be like interdependent. I am, like I don't want to be like strong and tough. I want to be like soft and gentle. Like so.
Did you discover this through your own meditation, your own witness of where your life was, or did therapy help you get to this point?
I think therapy helped me get to the I am strong. But my own meditative and just like my own spiritual journey and practice helped me get to the point of like, okay, do you really want to be do you really want to be carrying all of this and be strong? Like, do you really, like, it sounds good, but is that what you really want? Do you really want to be like fierce and tough all the time? And it's like, no. I think the part of grieving is that I'm experiencing, which might be a little different than other people who have been on the podcast, like grieving a person who is no longer here, like another person. I'm like grieving a part of myself that's no longer here, that I no longer resonate with, that I no longer want to identify with.
Okay. Now, one of the things about this podcast, we just don't recognize grieving because you lost a person in your life.
Right.
There are a lot of people grieve because I know somebody who grieved. The whole family grieved because the pet died.
Right.
I know somebody who grieved because the children left, and I'm sitting here by myself, thinking my life was going to be great. I'm going to love it. But then I look around and I'm here by myself.
Right.
Somebody who went through a divorce, marrying this person and think it's going to be to death do us part, and we've already parted, and neither one of us died. So, I try to show all the prospects of grieving.
Yeah, but even
because, like you're saying, your grief is totally different, and everybody is, no matter what you're grieving.
Yeah. But even those aspects of grief are grieving something outside of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm grieving something internally that is like, no one's making me grieve it. Like, no one is pulling this out of me. I'm choosing to like
to grieve about yourself.
To kick this version and then these parts of me. Not kick, that sounds a little violent, but to lay them to rest, to nicely have a ceremony and
put it somewhere else.
Heart with them.
Yeah. Bury it. Let's use that word.
A ceremony, nice little.
Let's bury that. And we're going to be a totally different person now. Yes. Now you came to this realization at what age? At a very young age, but what age?
So I'm turning 33 this season, and it's been happening for the last 2 years.
Okay.
Like 2-3 years. Like knowing that, okay, I don't really identify with this person. Like I used to have really bad social anxiety. And now like I don't really have social anxiety anymore.
But you know what? What happened to you at, let's say, 30?
Right.
Doesn't happen to a lot of young ladies at 30, especially living in the big city. Being raised in New York is totally different than moving to New York.
Absolutely.
you know.
Absolutely.
So a lot of young ladies don't come to this realization. A lot of them give up.
Mm-hmm.
They go back home,
Mm-hmm.
or they get involved in bad relationships, or they may even get have some kind of get into some kind of addiction.
Right.
You know, to try to make it through where you made it through.
Right.
You know, and you made it through this grieving process, and you came out
Right.
a totally different person.
Amen.
So let's tell us what happens when Chelsea thought about, I'm going to be 33.
So, colloquially, in my generation, we call year 33 our Jesus year. And just because, like, 33 is, like, a very prolific age, like, you know. But when actually getting to the root, like, okay, what does this actually mean? Like, why is this such a prolific age? Like, what is happening with Jesus at this age? And
because you didn't, this isn't something that you thought about. You knew before you turned 33 that 33 was a prolific.
yes,
Hey, okay,
yes, and a part of that too is, okay, we're about to get into my woo-woo bag. A part of that too is understanding like astrology, and astrology says we go through our Saturn return, which is when there's upheaval in our life and we're completely changed. It starts at about 28, 29, and it goes to about 32, 33.
okay.
So after this time in our life, we're completely changed. So there's all of these connections when it comes to like all of these practices. So when I dug deeper into the symbolic nature of like the Jesus year in 33, doing research, like that's when, you know, he went in the tomb, 3 days, was reborn, and, you know, wasn't just died and came back to life, like died one way, one person, one version, came back to life, a completely different version.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, so I feel like that's exactly what I've been experiencing this whole 33rd year of life, because technically I've already lived the 33rd year.
And you're relating this to the fact that Jesus was 33,
yes.
and what happened to him when he was 33.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So, with all that being said, I chose this year to really kind of publicize and make it be known that like I'm not the same. I'm a brand new person.
You're not the 32-year-old person now. You are now a new and brand new 33-year-old person who has a whole different concept of herself and life. Okay.
Exactly. And with that,
and you in your new season. This is your season.
Yes, amen. But with that, it's also like I've kind of like chosen to make an event of it, and this is also like when I've chosen to start going by my middle name, and because of the symbolism with my middle name and how it relates to like this new season. So it's kind of just like, okay, this is something that we all experience, but for me it's like, okay, it's something I want to stamp, something that I want to make an event and like really make it intentional.
I know when you send out your invitations to join you for your birthday lunch, it says, my Jesus years.
Yes.
And I thought that was unique. Didn't understand it. Try to, in my head, try to understand what it meant. But I thought, okay, I'll find out. She gonna tell me.
And I told you, but you couldn't hear me. So then I had to tell you again because you couldn't hear me at the lunch.
Blame it on not paying attention. Blame it on these crazy hearing aids that I can't hear in certain areas. But I did ask, and like Kristen, and Shannon
Oh,
some of the things that you said, because Shannon said, because you didn't hear, did you?
Piecing it
I'm
together.
going, no, I didn't hear it.
Piecing it all together.
But I understood that I understood you were making a speech that related to Chelsea and where she was in her life right now.
Right.
Okay.
And you're holding my poetry book. I think this was also, okay, so I call this my book baby because there was a gestation process, okay? There was a birthing. It was a very painful birth. There was labor that went to it. So this was a real, and this is also part of the process of shedding an old identity because it has like my old name and it has a lot of experiences in this book as a part of the things that I want to be rid of that I don't identify with anymore.
Let me say this about your book. I really enjoyed your book. I would have enjoyed it better if it had been somebody other than my granddaughter. Because of your life experience that I wasn't even had a clue to what was going on in your life.
Right.
Yeah, because Chelsea has been a very, I'm trying to think of the word, closed person. She doesn't let a lot of people. She don't let a lot of people into her life. You know, and even family. You know, you keep a lot of things to yourself. And the reason I said what I said about the writing of the book, because you did a fantastic job, you really did. It's just that I hurt for you. I cried for you. And I thought, I can't believe my grandchild experienced some of these things at such a young age. You know, and one of the things that I was so proud of you about was that you didn't hold back.
Right.
You told everything.
Right.
And if you want to know what her life was like before 33 in Jesus, you need to read the book, because I was amazed at how you walked through the fire. You know, you came through, and you came through a good person after some of the things that you went through.
I appreciate that.
You know, so
we have
if you see us looking around, that's because people are walking in and we're trying to see
if they want a tissue box for us right now.
So, but yeah, you know, I sat down and I read it in one sitting. I did not want to stop.
Oh my God!
You know, and I was probably up to 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, because it's like I'm reading about a stranger, because I didn't know this person went through this. I didn't know that every time she see me, she's smiling, and some of the things that she has had to deal with. You know, so I can understand after reading this book how you would want to shed. I'm going to reuse that word. How you wanted to shed the old Chelsea, and leave this person behind. Bury this person, because this person doesn't exist anymore.
No.
This person went through what they wanted, what they went through. They grieved about it, and they came out believing.
Yes. Believing that none of that defines them.
Yeah. So, you know, I'm very proud of you. I'm glad to call you my grandchild.
Oh, thank you. Ditto. Very proud of you for opening this space for people to just like talk about grief. Grief is not really something that a lot of people talk about. Death is not something that a lot of people feel comfortable talking about. I think we talked about this before. Like, not that I'm obsessed with death, but I really like the concept of death, not just physical death, but spiritual death as well. Because new, beautiful things can't grow
if you're still grieving.
And if you're still holding on to dead things.
And I'm sorry.
It's the same thing.
Sorry to say that I have not I have not made it through the fire yet.
Mm.
I'm at the tunnel,
Mm.
But one of the reasons that I decided to do this podcast because I had to understand and let myself know that I'm not the first person this has happened to.
Right.
And I look around and there are people in my church who's lost their mate, and they made it, or they look like they're making it. So it's not that I'm not going to make it. I just have to get through this period.
Right.
And I just thought that God laid it on my heart that I needed to share what I was going through, so people will understand they're not alone.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons that I ask people to come on my show, because I want the public to understand, the viewers to know that you may be sitting there going through something, but when you listen to somebody else's story, sometimes it sparks a light bulb saying, okay, if she went through it and she did that, I can do it.
Yeah, and I think for me, it's like, if I went through all of those things in that book, plus more, and I don't let it define me, and I don't let it bring me down, and I don't let it, deter me from doing what I want to do, other people can move through what they've been through and do the same. At any point, any day, any minute, you can wake up and say, this is actually the person I want to be. Never mind who you thought I was. This is who I am, and nothing else before this matters.
Yeah, but that's something that you define yourself. You don't let somebody else define who you're going to be.
Exactly.
So, and you're learning that at an early age. Some of us don't learn it at that age of 30. Some of us don't even learn it at the age of 60. You cannot be defined by who people want you to be. You have to be defined by who you want to be, or or the person you want to become.
Right.
As my audience can see, you have become a beautiful young lady who knows where she wants to go in life, knows what she wants to do in life, and you probably have a plan on how you're going to get there. But thank you for sharing with us. Thank you for being here. Is there anything else do you want to share with us about your journey, your life's journey?
I think just really harping on the belief part. I think when we say grieving to believing, what is it that I believe? And I truly believe that we can be whoever we want to be, again, regardless of what we've done in the past or what has happened to us. We can create our desired reality and just be the person that our highest self that we see ourselves as.
Right. I agree with you. Sometimes you lose people along the way when you decide to be yourself.
And there's a part of grieving that. That's another part of the grief process.
Yeah, but you know what? Those people who can't walk with you, you need to leave them behind.
Amen.
They don't need to be with you. And it's you're an amazing young lady. I thought that you had the courage when you moved from your mom's house to New York. I worried about you, and I just every once in a while, okay, have y'all heard from Chelsea? Y'all heard from Chelsea? But Chelsea's good.
Chelsea's great.
Good.
I'm amazing. Monique.
Yeah.
Monique is good. Monique is great.
Monique, I have to apologize to you right now.
No, my family can call me whatever.
I was about to say, it may be a long time before you be Monique.
Right, Christine. Oh yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? I can define people from my life
by what they call you.
From what they call me.
Mm-hmm.
When high school, growing up, I was Christine. When I met and married my second husband, I became Chris.
Carolyn, some people tell.
Hey, my family, if somebody say Carolyn, I know it's my family,
Exactly.
my brothers and sisters.
We all got these identity shifts.
So there are a lot of different names I have to answer to, but I am so glad to be here with you for this podcast. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you for coming on this 33 Jesus journey with us, because it has been amazing to watch a young lady come from the old to the new. So thank you for joining our podcast this evening. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope that you have heard something that will let you know that you can be brave enough to step out there to be the person that you want to be. And don't forget, now, if you want to join my podcast, you can do so by emailing me at chrisgreen7283@comcast.net, or you can leave a comment in the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell, because, hey, it's free.